Every single dating website and app like Tinder and Bumble are designed to keep you single, miserable, and lonely. Since Tinder's release in 2012, everyone now has the ability to meet someone with a simple swipe. Some might say that meeting people is more easy than it ever has been. But my question is, if that's the case, then why are we in an epidemic of loneliness? It's no shock to anyone that Gen Z is officially the loneliest generation. But it's not just affecting Gen Z. The loneliness epidemic is affecting our entire society. I will say this now, dating apps are complete and utter trash. The reality is that you stand more chance of meeting the love of your life in the local grocery store than you do swiping on an app where people are being treated like items in a store, waiting and ready to be picked or discarded. And even the people who morally do not agree with using dating apps have had to eventually concede because the vast majority of people have adopted these new methods of dating. So it's alright for people who are already in relationships, but for those who are looking for a partner and a meaningful relationship, it is far more difficult to meet someone in this day and age than it was if you were to go back to even just 20 years ago. This video isn't going to be just me slamming dating websites and apps, but I do think it's important to let everybody know how we got here so that we can actually move forward and change. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Yolanda Melody. The psychology of modern dating is based around a quantity over quality ethos. For example, if you were to listen to the advice from a modern day dating coach, they will perpetually advise people to date multiple people at the same time. The theory is that you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket, you're also spreading your attention out to multiple people, therefore not coming across too available, and this ethos works perfectly hand in hand with dating apps like Tinder. You're given the illusion of the abundance of choice, almost as if you're entering a human vending machine, wondering which one do I pick. And most people would think that statistically, this kind of mentality increases your chances of meeting the right person. You're giving yourself more people to choose from. But the problem is, humans are not statistics. Your chances of having a real loving relationship and a connection with someone are not increased by you spreading yourself out, because people who have self-worth and dignity do not work like this. And a person who has done the work on themselves and knows their worth will not take on a relationship with someone who treats human relationships with such apathy. The other issue is that when you're looking through these dating apps, it only shows you the superficial things that aren't even really important, and it completely bypasses all of the important things that you need to be looking for when you're looking for a partner. When you look at a profile on Tinder, you're presented with maybe a few photographs of the person, which aren't even a real representation of what that person looks like. It's more a representation of how good of a photographer they are. People can look very different based on lighting, angles, camera lens, but now it's even got so ridiculous that people actually have filters, like the dog filter, as their profile picture, which shows you nothing of how that person even looks. Next you get maybe a bio, hoping to gain some information about the personality of the person, which again doesn't really show you anything about that person. So you've got an abundance of choice, it seems, of fake pictures and fake bios to try and find someone that you can gel with. So when I was doing research, looking at other videos related to Tinder, I came across some strange things. There were a plethora of videos about what it's actually like being a man on Tinder. Apparently, if you're a man looking for a woman on one of these sites, the response rate is pitiful. While women can go onto these sites with a flood of DMs and interest, most men are having the complete opposite experience. And I found this to be quite interesting. Let me tell you something about women. We don't really care about looks that much. If you're a woman watching this video, comment below if you agree or disagree. Obviously, there's going to be anomalies, but in general, the thing that is most important to women is confidence. Women are attracted to confidence. This is why so many men say, oh, women like dickheads, right? It's not that women like being treated badly. It's that in society there seems to be two polar opposites and not a lot in between. You've got men that come across as if they're confident because they're arrogant and thus majoritively treat women badly. And then you have nice guys who, unfortunately, a lot of them are lacking in confidence. So even if they're nice, they struggle with finding a partner, and it's not because they're nice, it's because they've got low self-esteem. So for all the men watching, it's not about looks. And this circles back to the reason why most men don't get much response on these dating apps. Because the only thing that women have to gauge is something that's not really important, which is how the guy looks. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that looks are completely irrelevant, but I'll just say this now. Men care more about looks than women do. Okay? Generally speaking. Anywho, let's circle back. So another thing that pisses me off is I have watched countless videos of dating coaches advising women that they should date multiple people at the same time. And this is given as a golden rule. And the reason why they are telling women this, supposedly, is because theoretically, if you're dating multiple men at the same time, then again, your attention is being spread out more. This way you don't get fixated on just one guy and then ruin it by being too available, because you've got to juggle 5 guys at one time. I personally am shocked that society has become that degenerate that this is the advice that people are being given now. And it's being completely normalised. Apparently it's abnormal to just be exclusively talking to one person. Let me tell you how a self-respecting person would react if they found out that they were one of 5 or multiple other people, that they were being treated like an option. They will walk straight out the door. And you will lose them. So well done to all the people that are talking to multiple people at one time. What you'll end up doing is you'll ruin your chances of meeting a decent person. You know, when Tinder first came out, I always felt disgusted by it. If you look back at earlier generations, at how they used to date, say for example if you were to ask your grandparents, how did you guys meet? You'll most likely get a really sweet story with lots of nuances. Maybe they bumped into each other through mutual friends, or maybe a chain of events happened and it just kind of seemed like it was meant to be, like it was fate. And it's those kind of stories that always warm people's hearts, and they always give you hope and think there is more going on than this physical world that we can see. There's clearly a divine plan when you think of how people's lives pan out because of weird synchronicities. But if you were to ask Gen Z, how did you meet your partner, if they actually have one? How depressing is it to say, I met my partner on Tinder? That was always the thing that put me off, amongst all the other things. Clearly I hate Tinder and all dating apps, but that's the one thing that always put me off massively, is that there's no story behind your relationship. Even if you do find someone decent on one of these apps, it's a shame that you have to tell people that you met on an app. Now, I know that it sounds a little bit hypocritical, but I'm not actually against people meeting over the internet. I don't think it's got the same vibe, and there's good reason for that. My issue is with the concept of dating in this day and age in general. The concept that the first impression you have with that person, there's this underlying awkwardness of, I am assessing whether I am sexually attracted to you or not. That, to me, is weird. And it's unnatural. And personally, I think it sets people up for failure, because the things that you should be assessing before you enter into a relationship with someone are things such as, do we have something in common? Do we share the same values? Do we share the same morals? Are we passionate about the same things? Are our lifestyles compatible? All of these things are nothing to do with whether you can imagine having sex with that person or not. To me, that's something that shouldn't even come into the equation until you've got to know that person. That is the difference between love and lust. With lust, you can lust for someone who is completely evil, but they're attractive. It can blindsight you. This is why a lot of people are in miserable relationships, because the foundations are built on lust, which is what things like Tinder promote. The reason why I think meeting people on the internet is a bit different is because, from personal experience, I believe that I have built some brilliant friendships over the internet. So I do believe that you can find a relationship on the internet, just not on a dating app. The advice that I would give for someone who is looking for a meaningful relationship is, first off, stop looking. I know that this is the most annoying thing to hear, but it is the truth. If you are looking for a relationship to fulfill a void that is within you, then first off, you'll end up picking the wrong partner, and second off, you may not be in a place where you can handle a relationship. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm a strong believer in finding yourself and working through any issues that you have, knowing your self-worth, knowing what you're passionate about, pursuing your dreams. Do all of that before seeking out a relationship. Because if you don't know yourself, then whoever you pick for a relationship will most likely not be aligned with who you are. So you need to know yourself first. Say, for example, if you are passionate about painting or photography, but you're working a 9-to-5 job that you absolutely hate, and you're stopping yourself from chasing your dreams because you don't believe that you're good enough yet. If you seek out a relationship now, you might end up meeting someone who likes the version of you that you are right now, which is the low self-esteem version of you. Do you get where I'm coming from? You want to build yourself now. Figure out what you love, figure out what you're passionate about, make sure that your values are in check, make sure that you can look at yourself in the mirror and you can say, I'm proud of you. And once you're at that point, you're ready for a relationship. This is just my personal opinion. The next thing to do is get used to putting yourself out there. One of the major reasons why dating apps have destroyed relationships from even flourishing or happening is because so many men are scared of approaching women now because they've got used to doing it from their phones. I do realise that also women are contributing to this problem by making men feel scared of approaching them in case they get done for harassment. To all those girls that take videos of men looking at them while they're working out, trying to out them on the internet, shame on you, you're part of the problem. Right, this is a tangent, but it needs to be said, right? When I'm at the gym, the only thing that I am focused on is my workout. I could have the whole gym looking at me and I would have no idea. I genuinely do not care. And if someone is looking at me and I notice them, it actually helps me and motivates me to make sure that my form is correct. Because God forbid, I do not want someone seeing me slacking on my form. You would be surprised how your life turns around completely when you start taking the initiative to speak to people. And this can be online and offline. I used to hold back from leaving comments on people's videos or posts on the internet. I kind of just used to have this voice in my head saying, this person doesn't care about what you have to say, don't even bother saying it. But over the years I started to do things differently. I started pushing myself to say the things that I want to say to people. How many times have you been somewhere and you've seen someone and you've wanted to say something, just a little passing nice comment or maybe a compliment, but in a split second you just feel too shy. A little voice in your head tells you, oh no, don't say anything, just get your stuff and go. Keep your head down. How many times have you caught eye contact with someone and it kind of looks like they want to talk to you, but they're waiting for you to kind of give a cue, and then it just gets really awkward and you both end up saying nothing? That is a missed opportunity. This is not just related to relationships and finding someone, but this is also related to friendships as well. God puts opportunities in front of you all the time, every single day, but people have no idea how many times they avoid those opportunities by not having enough courage or confidence. And this is why we've got an epidemic of young people that are dying of loneliness, stuck inside their bedroom for 12 hours scrolling on TikTok, looking for something to make them feel anything. Everything they teach in modern dating culture is an inversion of how it should be. Everything is in reverse. Everything is backwards. Don't do what they tell you to do. And if you want to live a happy life, I would do the complete opposite of what the mainstream is telling you to do. That's just my opinion. If you really want to ramp up your chances of meeting someone, go somewhere where you know you will meet like-minded people. But again, I must stress, don't do this with the intention of meeting somebody. Don't go in with any expectations, just try something different. If you like going to the gym, if you like fitness, go to the gym and go to fitness events. If you like gaming, go to a gaming convention. If you like conspiracies and truth, go to a protest. If you like plants, go to a plant store. What I'm saying is have a little bit more trust. There are over 7 billion people on the earth, and you only need to find one. Thank you to everyone who donates to this channel, who supports this channel, and thank you so much for liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing so that more people can see these videos. Love you, bye!